Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the weekend is in sight as Daniel, playing as the Red Khmer, prepares to take on the Viper, playing as the Blue Sicilians. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings with Goat and with Scout, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now the Khmer are very much a Civ that focuses on some of the heaviest hitting units in the game. Their Scorpions have extra range and can be upgraded to shoot a second bolt. Their Battle Elephants move faster and can be upgraded to hit even harder with a +3 attack. And their unique unit is quite possibly one of the hardest units in the game, if not the most annoying unit in the game to deal with. I am, of course, talking about the Ballista Elephants, which, as it sounds, are elephant units with giant ballistae mounted on their backs, which can be upgraded, by the way, also to shoot a second bolt. Now, in order to take advantage of these bonuses, upgrades, and very powerful units, the Khmer have to get their butts up to Castle and Imperial as soon as possible with a lot of food in the bank. So to help them do this, they do get a few fun bonuses. First, they don't need any structures to go up to the next age, meaning as long as you have the resources, I'm of course talking 500 food or 800 food, 200 gold, or even 1,000 food, 800 gold to get up to Imperial, you can go up. Structures like lumber camps, mining camps, mills, etc., barracks are not required. Second, all buildings from your age are available to you at all times, which means, for example, you do not need to build a barracks in order to have access to an archery range or stables. And lastly, Khmer farmers do not need to bring food to the mill or to the town center. As long as a farmer is working on a farm, it automatically generates food and adds it to the top left of our screen to the stockpile, so Khmer can build farms literally anywhere on the map. Khmer villagers are also harder to raid because they can actually garrison inside these guys' houses, and once the danger passes, they can come back out and get their butts back to work. Now, the Sicilians, played by the Viper here, very much a Civ whose, in my opinion, strength flows directly from their static defensive structures. Sicilians, as you can see in the top left of our screen, do start the game with 100 extra stone, which is fantastic because they build town centers twice as fast as normal and castles 50% faster. Starting in Feudal Age, the Sicilians also have access to a unique structure called the Donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that actually gains HP and armor as the game progresses. And starting in Castle Age, it can actually shoot multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Now, unlike its similar but not quite the same counterpart, the Bulgarian Krepost, the Donjon can be used to train the Sicilian unique unit. I am, of course, talking about the Sergeant, an overall medium infantry unit that its HP rather actually increases in Castle Age, and it's the only unique unit that can be trained in the Feudal Age. And by the way, you can actually use sergeants to build and repair donjons. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepos, a donjon can also be used to train spearman line units, and now, thanks to the April patch, the donjon is actually required in order to build stables and archery ranges. But by far, in my opinion, the coolest feature of the Sicilians is their ability to call a first crusade where each town center, up to a maximum of 5, spawns 5 of their sergeants for a maximum of 25 extra units. Now, the sergeant, like all infantry units, is susceptible to archer fire once the battle does commence. So to help protect it on the field of battle, Sicilian knights and cavaliers can actually be upgraded to get extra armor. All Sicilian infantry, all Sicilian cavalry, and all Sicilian archer units take 33% less bonus damage, and all Sicilian units can actually be upgraded to become more resistant to conversion. Now, the Sicilians, to help feed their big, hungry, militaristic population, have, in my opinion, again, the best farms in the game. I don't know why I keep saying in my opinion. You're watching my casts, you're watching my videos. Obviously, this is my opinion. They do have the best farms in the game. When a farm upgrade is researched, it more than doubles the amount of food added to a farms, giving Sicilian farms in Imperial Age fully upgraded 1,019 food. That's over 1,000 food per farm, which helps save on wood costs later on in the game, as you do need to reseed your farm less frequently. Now, we'll get into it in the game, I hope, but these are two civilizations that did get a recent change. I leave it up to the players, up to the commentators, like, you know, Spirit of the Law and Ornlu and people who get into the nitty gritty of all the details to say whether they're buffs or nerfs. But the Khmer, for example, the ballista elephant's armor has been changed, and the Sicilian, way too many changes to get into right now. Hopefully we'll get to see some in the game. But as you saw in the beginning, while I've been talking, we've got a bit of a sneak attack here by Daniel. But as I mentioned, for example, one of the big changes is you now need a donjon in order to be able to build a archery range and a stable, which is pretty interesting. Will definitely change the meta of the game, and will definitely make the Sicilians use their extra stone very early on in the game. For now, Daniel is attacking the Viper. Let's take a very quick look at the base. Viper's base completely open to the north and to the west, the portion facing his opponent. His opponent making use of that big open space. Viper already walling a villager in so he can sit, have some popcorn, and watch the action unfold. The Viper, luckily, his gold is a little bit secure, although with with Daniel being this aggressive, we'll see if it actually is that secure. And there goes the donjon. There we go. Donjon very much in range of the tower. Tower very much in range of the donjon. Let's take a quick look at Daniel's base. He's got the 4 pillars of forest here all the way around. Easy to wall off all of this. Primary gold a little bit to the side. Primary stone a little bit to the side. So no particular resource very exposed here. And by the way, let me zoom out. This is a very short rush distance between the two bases of a lot of even ground. So this potentially could be a very fascinating game here between the two. It looks like Daniel is trying to excuse me, I just hit my microphone. Looks like Daniel's already trying to put in a crazy amount of aggression on the Viper, trying to get him out of the game as early as possible. A villager does die. First blood award going to our red Khmer, who now takes out a scout. The Viper's vision is gone. Take a look. This is his vision right now. Did manage to sneak the villager out. Did manage to sneak him out through the back gate, it looks like, so that he could save him from that one scout. But the donjon is up. Remember, these guys can train spearman line. Oh, another very cool upgrade in the game. One that I think is probably the most important update. Now there are 5 rugs on Arabia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as opposed to the usual amount that existed before. Oh man, Daniel is unrelenting. Guys, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to my, let's call it quote unquote sense of humor, then you know I am, of course, being sarcastic, but rugs are definitely a fun little addition to the game. Oh no, the tower gets canceled. The Viper here making an issue of it with a spear. Oh, he is training spearmen out of the donjon. There we go. Super cool feature of this structure. And now the Viper looks like he is shooing this away. For some reason, Daniel is sticking around, outnumbered though he is, to fight this. Now the Viper takes the kill lead. 5-4, 1 villager kill apiece. Why did Daniel stick around so long with those units? In any event, he is now retreating, but his tower's still up. Viper without a scout, placing houses a little bit on the perimeter of his base to give him as much vision as possible. Daniel's scout is entering very much into no man's land over here. No real avenue of escape. Oh, and he makes it even worse for himself by entering that little nook. The Viper tried to wall him in, but did not succeed. And it looks like another donjon was attempted here by the Viper. Or rather, another tower here by Daniel, which was taken out by the Viper. Oh my god, we are 14-15 minutes into the game. The game is already chaotic AF. 7 kill count to the Viper, 5 to Daniel. Behind this, more villagers moving forward. Both players in feudal. Both players have the almost exact same villager count. Daniel's army is smaller now. The Viper, 5 army supply to 2. But his army supply is in spearmen, and as good as they are countering scouts, they are slow, and they have much less vision. Although when you do stuff like this, Daniel, you do lose. Actually, is there a line of sight less? It looks like it's very similar. Oh, they pivot back. A little bit of hesitation here from the Viper. Now he's moving forward with villagers to attack the tower. While the spearmen do nothing. Loses a spearman. Okay, Daniel should lose that scout, though. Yeah, the Viper here pulling a lot of villagers. This is 9 villagers. A third of his economy is here fighting these villagers. He does not want to give these towers time to go up because he needs this gray stuff. Where's the next closest stone pile for the Viper, by the way? Oh man, is it exposed in the middle of nowhere. Viper now chasing Daniel away. Has all the aggression from Daniel, our red Khmer, stopped. This stable is no longer training units. These houses no longer defending any kind of structures. And now the Viper has enclosed himself and is starting to stone mine. This will be the Viper's second foray out onto the map. The first one with the scout it looks like it did discover the periphery of Daniel's base, but an archery range for Daniel, who now leads 2 villagers, but 0 military. Let's take a look at the Viper's base, since it looks like he's the only one attempting any kind of wall off. Securing his backwards gold, his secondary gold, primary gold being mined. This is a little interesting development here. Okay, so the Viper is stabilized, and by that I mean countered all of the aggression from his opponent. But he's got to be careful. Archers are out now, or at least an archer. So the usefulness, the shelf life, let's say, of these spearmen is now gone. They are past their prime and expired. Daniel heading up to castle on the back of that incredible Khmer economy. By the way, take a look at this. You see how there's no food gathering? Look at the Viper's farmer. You see how there's a big juicy steak? Looks like a New York sirloin. 10 food, 11 food, etc. Take a look at the Khmer count at the top left of your screen. Look how quickly it's going up 1 unit at a time. That is the power of Khmer's. They could literally put a farm here in the middle of nowhere, in the top right, or rather top corner of the map, and still be able to gather food from that farm with a mill nowhere in sight. Uh-oh. Daniel, sensing that the Viper is going to retreat with his spearmen, which he absolutely did, and is now healing them inside the donjon, returns with a vengeance. Another tower lames the stone. Semi-lame, let's call it. But the Viper here already has 1 stable, going up to a 2nd stable. Market already up. He is a minute away from Castle Age. His opponent, though, a good 20 seconds ahead of him. Not the end of the world advantage here. Again, villager count identical. Army supply identical. Although 3-2, you could argue, is a 50% difference if you're looking at it from that angle. A defensive stable here. Okay. So Daniel changing things up a little bit and now has entered into the donjon firing zone. Going from the aggressive to the defensive, it looks like, although his villagers still contesting this. 3 knights are being trained for our Khmer, 2 knights for our Sicilian. We'll see if we get to see Hauberk. For now, we're just getting chain barding armor, which will add a few more. Oh no. Stop going into the the firing range of that donjon. Oh man, I was about to say, which will add another +1 to the defense of these knights, who are already at a +1. Daniel, no upgrades at all, getting husbandry wheelbarrow on the back of 38 villagers. And now we've got a game of ring around the static defense. The Viper trying to avoid arrow fire from these towers, which are full of, by the way, 2 archers as well, in addition to the villagers, while Daniel tries to run away from this donjon fire. It certainly does seem like he's about to lose this tower, but the Viper stable also on fire. Let's take a look at what he's following this up with. Monks. Not a bad counter to the knights at this stage of the game. Knights not exactly the fastest moving units, and so knights are a fantastic play. Army supply 9-7. The Viper, however, is expanding off the back of 2 extra town centers. Remember, they build these guys 100% faster, but thanks to the latest patch, castles now are no longer built 100% faster. They are now just built a meager 50% faster. Daniel, 1 villager on stone. The Viper, no villagers on stone, so I doubt we're going to see castles in the immediate future. But so far, a lot of action, a flurry of activity. Beautiful placement for a town center, I think. Double teaming this gold pile, never a bad idea. And yet again, Daniel going backwards with his army. I mean, if you're worried about counter pressure, wall your base off. You have such an easily wall-offable base. That is not a word, but you guys know what I mean. And on top of that, put a few outposts around. But Daniel now is going to take a look at his stone to see if he can afford an outpost, and I see 5 villagers on stone. Viper already prepared with a monk of his own. So Daniel not getting any kind of critical damage done here at all. Donjon is safe. Stable's on fire, but... Oh, somebody rescue these horses. The stable's on fire. Get those poor horses out of there. Oh, here we go. Light Cav on the menu. I wonder if he thinks the Viper is going to invest heavily into monk play, or if Daniel's just trying to save gold. He's got 14 villagers, 15 on gold. But he's producing more and more monks. His knight count... Yeah, that's what those guys were for. But a monk for a monk. And we'll see if he gets Daniel's monk here as well. No, just the one monk, but the monk is surrounded. Oh, a bunch of knights from the Viper here. 12 army supply to 18, 8 knights to 6. Upgrades very much in favor of the Viper, who now pushes Daniel's army back. But was it a feigned retreat? Because there's 2 monks here. One convert, and 2 dead monks. Not too sure that is the cost-effective trade here that Daniel was looking for. Viper has to be careful. Daniel notices the monk. Takes a shot and dies, does that monk. Relic count 0 to 0, but now Daniel has critical information. He knows that the Viper is trying to get relics. He knows that those monks are going to be out on the map. The Viper with a ballsy town center here in the middle of, kind of in the middle of nowhere, not really in the middle of nowhere. We'll see how that works out for him. For now, though, the aggression from Daniel remains, although in no game-ending form here. Light Cav unupgraded, Knights unupgraded. I like that he's healing up his units. He needs to get maybe another monk. Yeah, he's training a second monk who now pops out. A 3rd town center going up for our Khmer as well. Okay, and he sees this beautiful scouting by Daniel. Oh, he sees the gap that the Viper created so that he could get his villager out. But Daniel knows the golden rule. If you enter your opponent's base, always make sure you have an exit plan. And he knew that he was going to get wall. If anyone can wall you off, trap you, and kill you, it is the Viper. So Daniel, very, very cautious, very hesitant. Didn't want to lose all those scouts in exchange for just 1 villager. And the stalemate continues. But whose benefit to the Vipers? 76 villagers to 61. Military stalemate. But take a look. Not exactly the highest ground on that hill, but a good amount of high ground on there. Viper does not have the military power to contest this tower going up. A lion roaring into action says, "This is my stone pile. How dare you? How dare you, good sir?" Oh, he's trying to convert light cav, but a body block of knights. Does lose 1 monk, does Daniel. Man, light cav are so freaking fast. I always tell this to anyone who listens. You cannot body block against light cav unless you build fortifications or actually fully surround your unit. Another monk dies. They are just so ridiculously fast. They will run through, they will run around any kind of any kind of meat shield that you put up. In this case, knights and other light cav. Knights, of course, a different story, but my goodness, that the loss of those 2 monks is going to sting Daniel in the short run. In the long run, he's got 3 more on the production tab and another one making his way slowly, I'm assuming. There he is. To the battlefield to the south. The battle continues. Daniel finally using the stable to train units. And the Viper's stone collection has been lamed over here and over here. The Viper is in a little bit of trouble. Daniel taking the relic. First relic here will go to Daniel. Brilliant play here out of him. Continuing to circle. Might want to just hang out for a second. I don't know. You need to be constantly moving like this. Let your monk heal your units. The Viper, where are you going? You are just hanging out here at the top of the hill. And now it looks like the players are going to start raiding each other at the 33-minute mark. That's what the Viper is doing. This is not an exploratory body. This is not a body of knights designed to find relics out on the map. In fact, he's only seen one more relic. This is a body of knights designed to kill. 6 kills already. 9 kills. 10 kills on Daniels. But he's got to get out of here. This is a lot of pikemen out of the Viper. Good upgrades, +1/+1. They will shoo these guys away, especially in choke points. But how the hell does Daniel plan on dealing with this? He's got nothing at home. The Viper has just gone completely around him. This is how he plans on dealing with it. He has brought back his entire army. Almost his entire army, leaving his monks completely exposed. But take a look at this. Castle drop right in the Viper's face. It's not bad enough that this tower lamed the stone. This tower lamed the town center. Now there's a castle here as well. The Viper has 6 kills on his group of units here. 4 kills on this group of unit here. And now he is luring Daniel out into the middle of nowhere. Literally into the middle of nowhere. I wonder what this is for. Doesn't look like it's for any kind of engage. Although here the knights do get surrounded. They are fighting light cav, but take a look at their HP. They're about 10 times lower in HP. And a few of these units from Daniel have the high ground. So the Viper loses that tiny expeditionary force. This one huffs it back home. Where are you going, 8 villagers? Being attacked by a line. Okay, there you go. The villagers say, we got 1 for all and 1 for, what is it? 1 for all and all for 1, say these fleur-de-lis wearing blue villagers, and all gang up on that line, but the Viper's back. Now we know why he drew Daniel's entire army here, so that he could sneak out a bunch of villagers from his base. Absolute 4D chess move out of the Viper. Let's see what happens. He is housed at 155, it looks like. I don't see any dots on the map. I see a stable. Okay, 2 houses being built for him in this little Hakuna Matata community. A zebra, an ostrich, and camels? Okay, a peaceful little community. We'll keep an eye out on these villagers, see exactly what they're for. The Viper has 0 villagers on stone, so we know this is not for a town, for a castle, unless he decides to blow his entire bank and start buying stone. Daniel pops in again, sees that the pikemen are still here, retreats. These are 10 knights, 2 light cav with only 9 kills. And now the Viper is back, and he's distracting again to the center of the map while his villagers go around the side. Man. Oh, Daniel can't take this engage. This is way too many knights for these light cav. And despite the fact that Daniel is pushing in through the center with another castle and 2 ballista, 3 ballista elephants have not revealed themselves. I am whispering in case the Viper hears me. These 2 elephants, look at the 2 cute elephants here on the either side of the stairs, have not yet revealed themselves. 4 in total, 2 scorpions as well. But the Viper taking a bad engage here. Let's highlight and see what we're working with. 1,000 Khmer HP to 450 Sicilian. Okay, so he is taking the gold. I thought it was going to be for military buildings, but maybe it's a... Oh, look at this. 5 stables plopped down for our Sicilian. Oh, and now the ballista elephants are falling to pikemen. Oh, this is never something you want to see or do. Another monk will die. Daniel's monk count down to 3. By the way, where are his monks? One's at home. Anyway, we'll keep an eye and see where his monks. At the same time, he is raiding the Viper's wood line. But he is being shooed away in the front, and he loses 2 ballista elephants. 2 ballista elephants. A scorpion looks like he's about to die as well. What's the kill count on these guys? 19. That is a nice, juicy, healthy kill count. Has Daniel discovered any of this? No, he's seen the outpost, though. Nothing else. Everything else is in the fog of war, in the shroud of darkness covering the external part of the map. At least external for him. Oh, man, ballista elephants, so annoying to deal with. Viper is heading up to Imperial, a minute away. This game is incredibly chaotic. 1 pikeman guarding this base. Has Daniel seen any of it? No, he hasn't seen a single thing. Oh, God. But take a look at how quickly they build. Look at, oh my God, look at the speed. Even at 50%, it's ridiculously ludicrous to watch them build a castle. Sicilian castle up. Khmer castle up. 20 villagers inside. Daniel has pulled a lot of villagers off of his economy. His idols for a second were in the 30s. 24 kills on these two knights. My goodness. On only a +1/+1. Got to be careful. Their HP is absolutely terrible. Is he training? I thought they were stables. Never mind. They are 2 barracks and a stables. Castle on castle violence. HP. Vipers down a little bit, but easy to repair. Now Daniel taking the Viper's tertiary gold here, while at the same time continuing to raid. 0 kills on these guys. They are being chased around by a squad of pikemen. Oh no. Daniel's going to see this random pikeman in the middle of nowhere. It does look like those 2 knights finally bit the dust, but my good, 20 to 30 kills on those 2 knights is an absolute baller move here. Viper first to hit Imperial, first to get his treb out. Daniel 2 minutes away. But look at this infrastructure. Daniel has made himself at home, pulled up his feet, lit a cigar, and says, this part belongs to me now. Oh, you want stone? LOL. Oh, you want your gold? And this gold? LOL. The Viper's base completely out of resources that he can mine right now. Maybe if he gets this castle down, he'll have access to this Tetris piece shape of stone. But for now, he's got to, you know, be okay with just this little bit of gold there. Oh, Daniel's villager should have seen something. No. Why was she out there in the middle of nowhere? Okay. He sees it. He sees the chain. Is he going to follow it? We'll call this guy Poirot, the light cab, investigating and discovering things. 2 kills. Very few kills on these units at the moment. Look at him. He's about to run into a bunch of infrastructure here. Let's follow along on his journey of discovery. Daniel is right now about to hit Imperial. Sees it all. Amazing, amazing vision here. I mean, a little late, but amazing nonetheless. How many of us would have had the wherewithal to follow this chain of outposts, knowing exactly where it's going? I mean, it's not exactly a straight line. 2 castles down for our Khmer. How many trebs here? 3. First Crusade is about to be called out of how many? 5 town centers. We'll see those sergeants upgrades. +1/+2 on them, but now it's the Viper who's returning the raiding favor. Daniel, we've seen this out of the Viper before. Man, he takes a punch, he takes a bunch of beatings, and then just starts raiding from all multiple angles. I mean, 1, 2, 3. We'll call it 3.5 for now. 4 once these guys get back in. 63 idle villagers for Daniel. And in come the sergeants. They might be medium infantry units, like I said, but take a look at their base armor. 3 base melee, 3 base pierce. Makes them very, very tanky, even though they only attack on an 8. Daniel, no trebs whatsoever. No heavy hitting units at all. Now the Viper is ahead. 57 army supply to 33. Daniel's villager count at 120, but almost more than a third of that is just idle inside town centers. What are you? You are a random light cab over here in the corner of the map. And take a look at the mini map. Blue dots everywhere. Look at the Viper building 4 stables in front of his opponent's base. And even though these pikemen are weak as shit, and even though they're not going to get that many kills, they are distracting. They are forcing garrisoning. Take a look. 58 unhelpful villagers. 61, 62 doing nothing. But the Viper's army supply is now fallen. A lot of it is in pikemen. Half his army supply is in pikemen, who are going to be halberdiers very, very soon. The question is, what the hell does Daniel have to reply to this? Cavaliers. That is a very good reply. Anytime you fight Castle Age units with Imperial Age units, that is a good move. And now take a look at the army supply. We've shifted yet again. The Age of Empires pendulum has shifted back in favor of Daniel, although villager count, again, 30 some odd villagers are still hiding inside these town centers, waiting for the Viper's aggression to be over. Doesn't look like it's going to be over anytime soon. 4 knights being built out of here, but... Oh my god, why did you stop? Why did you keep going? Get the trebs. This is an amazing get if you can catch them. Oh, what a missed opportunity here by Daniel. That is 1,200 resources that he could have absolutely tried to shred with those Cavaliers. 800 HP, 14 kills already. Another body of Cavaliers, 25 kills on them. Although maybe that's all from the light cav. No, that guy just has 1 kill. A monk goes down to Cavaliers, but the halberdiers are out. Take a look at their bonus now. 32 bonus against cavalry. And it's, if the situation was reversed, remember that the Sicilian Cavaliers would take less bonus damage, 33% less bonus damage. But that is not the case. 29 idols still for Daniel. Where are all these idle villagers, by the way? I don't see any villagers inside town centers or whatnot. They must just be hanging out, having a good old time. Cavaliers badly bruised. Needs to get them the hell out of Dodge. Needs to get them to the healing arms of a monk. Daniel basically... Oh, actually, take a look. The Viper now has more idle villagers than Daniel. They're kind of just hanging out watching the trebs, getting ready to repair them if necessary. Not that Daniel's producing any kind of pressure here. The Viper somehow has bounced back up to double the army supply, has Cavaliers of his own, is raiding to the south. 0 kills on this guy. Cavalier fight. Cavalier fight. +3. +3 armor on both of these. Stats identical, but it looks like the Viper's Cavalier just had a little bit more HP. Blast Furnace is a long upgrade to research. 100 in-game seconds if you hit Imperial and you've got the resources and you're going melee. Start researching that as soon as possible. No Hauberk just yet, though. Not that he needs it with 3 Cavaliers. I was going to say, what's training out of here? But wow. Take a look at the mini-map. How many kills? Only 3 kills on these light calves. So Daniel did a good job defending his economy against the light cav, it looks like. But that earlier aggression, yeah, you can't really defend against Cavaliers. 7 kills, 4 kills on these 2. Now Daniel's entire army, look at their HP. It's absolute dog shit. It's less than half. Their HP is at 40%. And what are you guys doing out here in the middle of nowhere? Were you chasing somebody? No, they were just hanging out here for the last part of the game. And take a look right before the end, 39 idle villagers. Where are these 39 idle villagers? Are they in houses? Are they in town centers? What am I missing here? Let's take a look. Let's try to locate where these... Okay, so there's 15 in here. None in this castle. That is a monastery. What am I missing? Okay, there's a clump here. Okay, yeah. So they're just clumped all over the map. 5 Feudal Age archers at the 53-minute mark of the game. Very, very optimistic move here by Daniel. What an absolute bonkers game here. I mean, the game was won in one... How do I put this? The game was won by the Viper, I think, with 1 move. And that's when he drew Daniel's entire army this way. Daniel, I think, thought that the Viper was drawing him out to attack Daniel's town centers. When Daniel realized that it wasn't for that purpose and that he was drawing him out literally into the corner of the map, alarm bells should have started going off in Daniel's brain. Immediately, the thought of, wait a second, you're not attacking me with your massive cavalry force? This must be a huge distraction. This must be a feint. This must be a way to draw me away from my structures. Now, from there on, it's pure guesswork. Is he drawing you away so that he can engage into your castles, so he can destroy your infrastructure? Or is he drawing you out so he can pull out a bunch of villagers to build? That is the real crapshoot here. But with enough scouting, Daniel was able to discover this fairly, I would say, early on, right? That one light cav, the Poirot light cav, although Poirot was what, Belgian? Not Khmer? But in any event, that one light cav that detective did find this, but by then, I don't know that Daniel really had the ability to fight back. Resources look very similar, not a huge difference, to be honest. I mean, wood at this point, who cares? But food and gold, 350 to 650, 420 to 250, not exactly a game-ending difference. 75 Cavaliers to 124 Halberdiers. APM pretty good for both players, although a little bit quicker for the Viper earlier on in the game. Let's take a look at the economy. 3 relics to 1, by the way. So Daniel did get that first relic and then got 2 more, and then the Viper, not surprised by this. Daniel had map control for the majority of the game. For all the good that did him, right? Let's take a look. Oh, man, 10,000, about 15% difference in resources. A shit ton more wood for the Viper. Food, gold, pretty similar. I'm not going to call this any crazy difference. I mean, 600 gold. This is, look at this, though. What is this? Almost 4 castles worth of stone. Military, 252 kills by Daniel, 242. That just shows you how incredibly similar and powerful these two players are. 14 converts for the Viper, only loses 3. That was a shame, the loss of the ballista elephants here. How many villager kills? Daniel killed 68, the Viper 99. Also not a huge difference. Really, really not a massive difference. Again, percentage-wise, yes, 50% or so difference, but 30 villagers difference in a 54-minute game? I don't know if that's really that determinative. What I think is more determinative is that Daniel was putting on so much offensive pressure, he forgot to put on any kind of static defense at home, any kind of wall off, any kind of defense whatsoever. Look at his base. Completely exposed. You are playing arguably one of the best players in the history of the game, and you left your entire base open to raiding. Either you missed something or you were very confident in your offensive abilities over here, which, by the way, remember, the Viper did hit Imperial first, did get out the Trebs first. Looks like he ended up losing 1 Treb somewhere, somehow. But that miss from the Cavaliers here to get the 3 Trebs that were en route to the battlefield was also pretty sour for Daniel. Loses a whole bunch of castles here somehow, despite laming the majority of the Viper's extra resources. And look at this. Daniel did such a good job laming these resources that 54 minutes into the game, the Viper's primary stone pile is still available. Still has stone in it, 450 stone. I was hoping we would get to see more Donjon play. Oh man, I think this is the halberdier from that was the spearman from the earlier stages of the game, or maybe not. I was hoping we would get to see more Donjon play. The Sicilians really did take a beating when it comes to their the changes. And when I say a beating, I don't mean it in a bad sense. I mean they're one of those civs that had the most changes. Donjon changes, farm changes, sergeant changes, all of these kinds of things. We also, I don't think, saw Gambesons because there's no militia line units. But ultimately, wow, the Viper doing basically what the Viper does, which is sitting back, taking a bunch of shots to the face. He's got his hands up, he's bobbing, he's weaving, he's dodging and dipping and diving, taking a whole bunch of damage, and then distracted his opponent with cavalry over the knights and the light cav that drew Daniel's entire army away. Slowly snuck out with some villagers, established this area, and using this to attack from the, what are we going to call this? The Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. And here, I guess that if this is the Pacific Northwest, this would be what, Florida? So attacking from the Northwest, attacking from the Southeast, and attacking up the center with trebuchets. I mean, the Viper's multi-pronged attack here, even though he does have the weaker unit, his army supply is higher, but look at it. It's 45 of them in halberdiers. And Daniel, I love the tech switch into archers, but a little too late. Let's put it like that. No trebs for him, even though he's got enough resources for 2 trebs, investing them more into archers. And wow, just a bunch of good moves out of both players. I love the early game aggression out of Daniel. Really, really did try to dislodge the Viper. Really did a fantastic job keeping the Viper's resource count low when it came to the, I guess let's call them the more limited resources like stone and gold, but ultimately all of it was for naught because the Viper just went full trash. And look at the damage, look at the HP on these guys. They're down to a third of their HP. Not much they can do against these full health halberdiers, plus all the raiding, plus all 48 idle villagers is not what you want to see when you've got only 116 villagers. So Daniel, I think, made a mistake not defending his base, or at least not creating wall offs or something. Some kind of defensive measures here. Now, remember, the Khmer are harder to raid. They can run into the into their houses. But at this stage of the game with Cavaliers out, those houses are going to be cold comfort to a unit that attacks on a 14. I mean, the light cav, yeah, sure, will take a little bit longer to get that house, but wow, what a fantastic game out of both players. Ultimately, though, the Viper does take the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.